It's there this morning and she gave us
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to White Buddhist Temple. Today is March 19th. We are having a special service today called Ohigan. These services of Ohigan is celebrated in the spring and in the fall as the equinoxes when the days are equal length, and there will be soon, hopefully. I've been looking forward to it for a long time. So, Ohigan means the other shore, and it's a service of reflection where we wish to meditate on the harmony of nature and devote ourselves to relaxation and harmony in our inner lives. So, we have Reverend Warwick as a special treat. So it'll be like old times, time worship. So, service today will begin with some Joe, which you'll find on page 22 of your Purple Service book. And I think we're doing Jusege, which is not on 25, but on 23. Another typo. So, Sensei.
Through the
Those of you who are able, please rise. We will recite the three treasures, and then we will have a God or song following it. Three treasures on page 3 of your service book. And the song is Selah, which you'll find on page 163. And for those of you who would like the Japanese version, it's on 164, the next page over. So, the three treasures. Fortunate is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Rare is it to encounter the teachings of the Buddha. Now we hear it. If we do not seek the truth of the Dharma in this life, in what life shall we seek find it? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha, in the
to the depth of the Dharma, and gain wisdom that speeds negation. I take refuge in sorrow, and they all together become units in true accord, in a life of harmony, in the spirit of universal brotherhood, free from the bondage of selfishness.
Even through ages and myriad of cultures, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful teaching. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the content of this teaching. Now, yes, 163. Thank you. You may be seated. We will have a now.
Either me or this thing's upside down. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Genki desu ka?
Yes.
Ah, I'm good. Where's Bud? I didn't think I was going to have this hard a time. Please join me in Gassho for a reading from Shinran's Hymns of the Pure Land Masters. The ocean of birth and death, the painful existence, has no bound. Only by the ship of Amida's universal vow can we, who have long been drowning, unfailingly be brought across it. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Brother Morrow, Monday, September 20th. No, not September 20th. I've been away a long time. How about March 20th? Is known as the equinox. Now, the word equinox comes from the Latin meaning equal nights, equinox. Equinoxes are opposite on either side of the equator. You have the autumnal fall equinox in the northern hemisphere, and then at the same time you'll have the vernal equinox in the southern hemisphere. Or as it is the case right now, we have the vernal equinox, the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, and the fall equinox down under, below the equator. On both sides of, on both of the two equinoxes, the length of day throughout the whole globe is the same on those days, on those 2 days. So the length of the day and night is equal. So you'll have 12 hours of sunshine and 12 hours of nighttime. Except that's not quite so. Not exactly. You have a little more daylight during the equinox than nighttime. But in Buddhism, we look at this equinox as a time of transition and change from shorter to longer and from longer to shorter days. And it's traditionally said that neither heat nor cold will last beyond the equinox. And in Buddhism, we look at that as one more symbolism of impermanence, and in the constant change of the seasons, throughout the year. It also signifies the inevitable transition from our lives to our deaths. So the seasons are always changing, the days are always changing. In most places, the weather at this time of the year is, normally not too cold or not too hot, especially in North America and in Japan at those latitudes. There's an old saying that harmony pervades the universe during the Ohigan, or the equinox times. There's also an old Japanese saying that says the Ohigan, both in the fall and the summer, is the boundary marking the beginning of spring and the end of summer. But today we celebrate what we know as Ohigan. Ohigan is a Buddhist holiday almost exclusively celebrated in Japan during spring and at the equinox. It's observed not only by Jodo Shinshu, but by virtually every Japanese Buddhist sect, and a few outside Japan. But it's one of the few holidays that we celebrate, or major services that we have, it's not directly related to Shakyamuni Buddha. Hanamatsuri is his birth, Nirvana is his enlightenment day. So a lot of our services and holidays, major services, are related to Shakyamuni Buddha, but this one does not. This tradition extends from the mild weather that occurs during this time, and the celebration of Ohigan service is believed to have started out in Japan about 1,200 years ago. That's before Shinran's time even. It's believed that it started in the 9th century with the Emperor Shomu. He ordered the priests at Kokubunji temples. These temples were established throughout Japan by the government in virtually every province. And the priests were to recite the Diamond Sutra. It was believed that chanting the Diamond Sutra would assure good harvests both before the planting in the spring and in the fall. And the core idea and spirit of the Diamond Sutra is to cultivate the mind by planting blessings of good deeds that they commit. The good deeds that they do that results in good karma. And also doing good deeds and practicing reverence for the Buddha as well. That also increases merit. And during Ohigan, it's customary for Buddhists, throughout Japan, not so much here, but to visit the graves of their ancestors and bring food and flowers. We do bring food and flowers. We do have this as a major service in our tradition as well. I have something here that says, also bring ministers' favorite food. I don't know what that means. But people who normally work in the fields, during that time, they would have a lot more leisure because spring plant, not quite time to plant in the spring, and not quite time or harvest would be already finished. So people would have more leisure, and they would be able to perhaps spend more time studying and learning the Dharma. There's a saying that says a poem that would be translated from what do we call that, haiku. It says, the day of Ohigan, what a fine time to plant the seeds of enlightenment. That doesn't quite go with the haiku in Japanese, but it's close. And we've been taught, as I said earlier, that the first day of the spring, that the day and night equals approximately 12 hours, or it should equal exactly 12 hours of daylight, but it's not. If you look at the Old Farmer's Almanac, and I did look it up, you'll find that it's not so. In fact, the tables tell you that it's a little bit more daylight during the equinox. So folks have been asking this morning, what you guys been up to, what you've been doing the last several months since you retired. And someone guessed earlier, and I think they said something about traveling. Yeah, we've been traveling. We've been doing a lot of traveling. We've had 2 granddaughters' weddings. We've been on 3 cruises. Then another wedding in Hawaii, plus a short vacation while we were there. We started our cruising in September. When my little sister and I and Rona and a friend went to the Bahamas. It was really nice to get into the warm, wonderful weather they have down there. We dodged Hurricane Ian. Our port was closed, so they took us. We got one more free day on our cruise because we couldn't go back to the port because of Hurricane Ian. So that was one more day we spent around the dessert bar. In October, we headed out on I think it was a 19 or 20 day cruise, right at 20 days, through the Panama Canal. This is the second time we've been through there, and we came through from Florida to Mexico and Washington. This time we went the other way. And it was nice, the warm weather, the warm sunny weather there. It's just right, it was really pretty. And they had this soft serve ice cream machine. And the guy that we traveled with sometimes, he and I both love gelato and ice cream. So we had this little contest going, and they had the vanilla, the strawberry, and the swirl. And so we would get one of each, during the day. And then we had the contest going of who could pile it the highest. And it was getting pretty long, up there. So needless to say, maybe a few pounds here and there. But in December, we made a nice long cruise. We left December 20th. And we flew down to Auckland, New Zealand. And on this New Zealand holiday barrier reef Indonesian ship, we visited about 21 or 22 different port destinations. But it seemed really strange, Christmas and New Year, running around dressed in t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. Our weather here is fairly mild around Christmas, but I did look it up while we were down there, and you guys got a pretty heavy snow around that time. Huh? Yeah, it was cold. So when we returned in January of this year, by then we visited New Zealand, Australia, Indonesia, and Singapore. And I got a note here that says after we came home, we didn't bring very many souvenirs. We stopped buying all those trinkets, that you bring home and you don't know what to do with them, and you really can't give them to anybody, or they don't want them either. So the only thing we brought home was a few extra pounds. And I don't mean in our luggage. But it was a wonderful time. It was wonderful being together. We thought about you guys often and wish you could be there with us, maybe someday. Also on our cruise, well, one other thing I wanted to mention, you heard of the Komodo dragon? Yeah, we got to see one up close and personal. Those things are pretty dangerous and they're big, and the guides would draw a line in the sand and say, don't get over that line. And I don't know what it is about tourists, but they always have to do what somebody tells them not to do, And so these people would wander up close, but those things, they're very, very dangerous. They lower their heartbeat down real low, so it looks like they're either passed out or dead or something. And then when the prey gets really close, they jump up and grab them. So the ones that we were able to photograph up close looked like they were asleep, but I bet they weren't. Their eyes were still open. So that was an exciting thing. So on our cruise, I noticed as we went farther and farther north, the days kept getting shorter and shorter, or no, maybe the days kept getting longer actually. And because we were approaching the equator, because it's wintertime down there, or summertime down there, so the days would be getting longer. No, they'd actually be getting shorter. Again, I'm upside down. But at the equator, the duration is about 12 hours daylight and 12 hours darkness all the time, because the sun shines directly on. Most of you know this already. But it seemed kind of odd. We kept changing our clocks constantly, on these trips. There's about 13 countries or so that lies on the equator. And as I said, their days and nights are almost equal all the time. So, since we celebrate Ohigan on days where they are equal to the nights, we could kind of say that it's always Ohigan somewhere. Right? Now, the reason I've made this observation is because I based it on the lyrics of a song that was written back in 2003 by Alan Jackson, he's a country and western singer, and Jimmy Buffett, you've probably heard of him. They came together and they wrote this drinking song called It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere. And as they sing this song, some of the lyrics go like this: pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. So that's what I'm basing my Ohigan theory on, that it's Ohigan always somewhere. But we know in Japanese the term Higan literally means other shore. It doesn't mean night or day or anything like that. That's in contrast to the word Shigan, which is this shore, this mundane world. And Higan refers to the Pure Land, the perfect enlightenment, which exists, sometimes they say, very far from this shore. The word Higan in Chinese translation, it comes through China and wound up as Higan in Japan. It came from the Sanskrit word paramita, which expresses the idea that the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, guides people from this ordinary world, or even Amida Buddha guides people from this ordinary world to the shores of the Pure Land by means of the 6 paramitas. And Shakyamuni is the one that gave us those paramitas to follow. And most of you know that they're the perfection of giving, morality, patience, perfection of energy, perfection of meditation, virya, and the perfection of wisdom. And it's said that these 6 paramitas is one of the universal ways that humans can attain the ultimate peace, in other words, enlightenment. And but most of us are so busy, and even though busy traveling and working and doing things, we can't really practice the paramitas. We can do them occasionally, spontaneously, but to do them constantly and to achieve perfection is virtually impossible for the ordinary person. And we know that because of the residual karmic ignorance that's within all of us. And it still affects our actions. But only Amida Buddha, as in our tradition we say, only Amida Buddha has perfectly fulfilled the paramitas. And since he has done that and accumulated such an enormous amount of merit in doing so, he fully and equally bestows those on each and every human being so that they can, in turn, follow him into the pure land through those paramitas that he has completed. By applying these paramitas in our daily lives, that would be our way in Shinshu of expressing our gratitude to Amida Buddha. Not because we think we're going to achieve perfection. It's very we could. It's very, very doubtful that it'll happen. But we apply those paramitas in our lives in gratitude to Amida Buddha. And it's not necessary for us to go to the equator or wait until Ohigan or find some place where it's the right time for us to practice those paramitas. Although Ohigan is a great time for us to simply express our gratitude, as I've said, to Amida and for the awakening of his infinite wisdom and compassion. And so, hope that everybody is going to enjoy the weather today. It was a beautiful day yesterday. It's sunny. I got out and worked outside. Now I'm so sore I can hardly move. But it was well worth it. And it's so wonderful to be here today. I'm pleased that Reverend Cindy gave me the opportunity to be with you today. That doesn't sound good enough. So to say by getting COVID, but that's not really the full story. I do hope I talked to her earlier. She's doing much better. She was just a little concerned that she might bring it and pass it on, even though she's well over it, I think. But again, thank you for coming today, and join me in Amida Kill reading for a reading from Amida Kill. Yeah. So practice in this world of the five defilements is full of regressions. Nothing can equal saying the Nembutsu and going west. Once there, one naturally realizes perfect enlightenment. Returning to the world of suffering, one becomes a bridge for others. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Again, thank you for coming today and giving me this opportunity to be with you and share the Buddha Dhamma. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Warwick. It's good to hear you and see you and learn from your wisdom. So, we all have, those of you who are able, please rise. We will have a gatha or song, Ondok Song 2, which you'll find on page 153 of your purple service book. Please remain standing and we will read together the Jodo Shinshu Daily Creed, which you'll find on page 8.
Oh
reading from page 8. Oh, there we go. We're reading from page 8 of the service book. Daily Creed, Joe Shinshu. Read along with me, please.
Realizing enlightenment is assured, and reciting them is true. I show them my life cheerfully and positively. Understanding the oneness of life and cultivating self-reflection, I shall diligently attend to my life's tasks in gratitude. Recognizing the right path, I shall not spread the teachings of the Buddha. Appreciating the Buddha Dharma, I shall respect and help others, working for the good of society.
Thank you. You may be seated. I can stay up here and talk a little bit. So we have our usual rest of our service. We have introduction of guests. I'd like to let people know about Mrs. Brooke. She's here today. It's good to see her. Looks like I have a with you too. Are there any other guests who'd like to make themselves known? Okay, that's fine. Announcements. Any organizations, groups have announcements today? Someone?
Just wanted to let you know that heads up, there is the first Adopt the Road cleanup on April 7th. So that's 2 weeks from now after service. Garbage bags and pickers will be supplied, but please dress for the weather and wear closed-toe shoes.
A little confusion. We are gathering for ukulele practice in spite of the women's organization having a meeting. As I understand it, you're meeting
We're over there.
in that room, and we're still meeting at the tables in the back of the room. So anybody that wants to play ukulele or just sing along, you're both welcome, and we'll be gathering right after service. Thank you.
Thank you, Don, for keeping music alive in our town. And you too, Judy. It's very much appreciated. It adds a lot of life to our services here. And as Don has mentioned, the Women's Buddhist Association Park, we are having our spring meeting. We'll be having it in the dining room over there. So those of you who are members, or if you want to just come and listen, you're welcome to do that. We'll have our door prize and just find out what activities people are interested in and some information about our association. So we will have our closing words. You'll find them on our program. It's something new we're doing. We're trying to keep this new tradition so that you know we are at the end of the service. And for those of you who wish to come up and make an offering or shoko, you can do that after we're done here. So everyone can read along with me. Closing words. My life is not only my life, but also the life of others, sacrifices, kindness, thoughtfulness, and patience. I am grateful. Thank you. No doubts. No doubts. Okay.